Ever wondered who really holds the keys to wealth across the world? It's not just athletes or celebrities, no. It's black men building billion-dollar empires across sports, tech, and even entertainment. From basketball legends to industrial moguls, these are the visionaries quietly shaping global money moves. Stick around till the end, because the #1 spot is going to blow your mind. 10. Magic Johnson, $21.5 billion. Magic Johnson is proof that being legendary on the court can be just the beginning. Irvin. Magic Johnson didn't just win championships with the Los Angeles Lakers. He went on to build a business empire that changed how communities grow and thrive. After winning 5 NBA championships and earning multiple MVP awards, Magic could have just kicked back and enjoyed retirement. But he saw bigger opportunities. He launched Magic Johnson Enterprises, investing in movie theaters, Starbucks franchises, and even life insurance through EquiTrust. He also owns stakes in sports teams, including a piece of the Los Angeles Dodgers, making him a player both on and off the court. Here's the cool part. Magic's focus has always been on communities. He invests in urban neighborhoods, opening businesses where they are needed most, creating jobs, and boosting local economies. His approach combines smart business with social impact, proving that you can do well while doing good. Johnson's strategy isn't just about owning companies. It's about revitalizing spaces and empowering people. By targeting underserved communities, he helps bring economic growth to areas often overlooked by traditional investors. His work goes beyond dollars. It's about opportunity, representation, and inspiring others to dream bigger. Magic Johnson took his fame and turned it into influence, wealth, and tangible community change. From basketball courts to boardrooms, he shows that skill, vision, and a desire to lift others up can create a lasting legacy. And while Magic built neighborhoods, the next billionaire dominated the world with nothing but sugar and flour. 9. Adebayo Ogunlesi, $2.3 billion. If you have ever walked through an international airport, there is a good chance you passed through part of Adebayo Ogunlesi's empire without even knowing it. He is the quiet billionaire who built his fortune not on celebrity or consumer brands, but on something far more powerful: global infrastructure, airports, energy assets, transport hubs, and critical systems that keep countries running. That is the world Ogunlesi mastered, and it turned him into one of the richest black men on earth. Adebayo Ogunlesi was born in Makun, Nigeria in 1953 to a family that deeply valued education. His father was the first Nigerian-born professor of medicine at the University of Ibadan, and that legacy of excellence shaped him. Ogunlesi went on to study at Oxford University and later earned both his law degree and MBA from Harvard. By the time he stepped into the world of high finance, he had one of the strongest academic toolkits on Wall Street. His early career took off at Credit Suisse, where he rose to become the head of global investment banking. But Ogunlesi didn't just want to advise on deals. He wanted to own the assets themselves. In 2006, he founded Global Infrastructure Partners, better known as GIP. That decision changed everything. GIP specializes in buying and managing the infrastructure the world depends on: airports, seaports, energy pipelines, renewable power, and transport networks. Under Ogunlesi's leadership, the firm acquired major assets including London's Gatwick Airport, London City Airport, Edinburgh Airport, and a massive portfolio of energy and transportation companies. While most people think of tech as the path to billionaire status, Ogunlesi proved that controlling the flow of energy, travel, and commerce can be just as powerful. In 2024, GIP was acquired by BlackRock in a historic $12.5 billion deal, cementing Ogunlesi's status as one of the most influential figures in global finance. The acquisition didn't just highlight his business success, it showcased how a Nigerian-born strategist reshaped one of the most capital-intensive industries on the planet. What makes Adebayo Ogunlesi stand out is his strategic genius and understated leadership. No flashy lifestyle, no constant media presence, just execution at the highest level. He built wealth by understanding something simple: whoever controls infrastructure controls the future. Ogunlesi's rise shows that even the most complex industries can be mastered with vision, precision, and relentless discipline. But it's nowhere the inspiration that comes from our next billionaire who turned talent into multiple companies. 8. Jay-Z, $12.5 billion. Jay-Z is living proof that talent, hustle, and smart business moves can turn a music career into a full-blown empire. Sean Carter started out in the rough neighborhoods of Brooklyn, spitting bars in the 90s, and now he's a billionaire who doesn't just make hits. He makes moves that shape culture and money alike. His journey began in the music scene, and he quickly became one of the most influential rappers ever. But Jay-Z didn't just stop at albums and tours. He understood early that music could open doors, but smart investments could lock them forever. Enter Roc Nation, his talent agency and entertainment company, which manages artists, athletes, and creatives while producing music, films, and live events. And it doesn't end there. Jay-Z branched into tech with Tidal, a music streaming service, and made strategic investments in companies like Uber. On the luxury side, he owns Armand de Brignac Champagne and Douce Cognac, turning lifestyle into liquid assets. His portfolio is a perfect mix of culture, tech, and cash flow. What makes Jay-Z really stand out is how he combines influence and impact. He actively supports criminal justice reform, invests in Black-owned businesses, and uses his platform to give back to communities like the one he grew up in. He's proof that being rich doesn't mean losing your roots or your voice. It means using your voice to create more opportunities for others. Jay-Z's story is one of evolution. From the streets of Brooklyn to boardrooms and billion-dollar deals, he flipped music into a machine that powers culture and business. Every step shows vision, risk-taking, and the ability to spot opportunities others miss. He turned beats and bars into billions and influence that stretches across industries. And while Jay-Z transformed culture into cash, the next billionaire became famous by turning sports into a market. 7. Patrice Motsepe. $3.5 billion. Now imagine going from a young lawyer in South Africa to one of the most powerful business figures on the entire continent. Sounds unreal, right? But that is exactly what Patrice Motsepe pulled off. He did not just chase wealth. He built industries, created jobs, and inspired a whole generation of African dreamers to believe that they could do it too. Patrice Motsepe started out studying law and later worked in corporate firms. But the man had a different kind of vision. In the early 1990s, when South Africa was beginning to open up new opportunities for Black entrepreneurs, Motsepe made a bold move. He entered the mining business. Mining in South Africa is no joke. I mean, it is tough, expensive, and filled with competition from huge companies. Yet Motsepe saw what others did not. He founded African Rainbow Minerals, known as ARM, and started buying up undervalued mining operations. Gold, platinum, iron, copper. If it was in the ground and had value, he found a way to turn it into wealth. Soon enough, ARM became one of the largest and most successful mining groups in South Africa. What made Motsepe stand out was not just how much money he made, but how he made it. He focused on building partnerships that supported local communities. He made sure that the people who lived near the mines also benefited from the work being done there. That is a big part of why he is so respected. In 2008, he became the very first Black African to make it onto the Forbes billionaires list, and he has stayed there ever since. Beyond mining, he has investments in banking, telecommunications, and even sports. Yep, he owns the Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club, one of Africa's top teams. And if that is not cool enough, he also serves as the president of the Confederation of African Football, shaping the future of the game across the continent. But perhaps the most inspiring thing about Motsepe is how much he gives back. Through the Motsepe Foundation, he and his family donate millions to improve education, healthcare, and job creation across Africa. He was also one of the first people to join the Giving Pledge, promising to give away half his fortune to charity. From boardrooms to football fields, Patrice Motsepe proves that real power is not just about building wealth, but about using it to build others. And while his story is all about mining the riches of the earth, the next person on this list built his fortune by mining something completely different: technology. 6. Michael Jordan, $3.2 billion. Let's start with the man who turned a basketball and a pair of sneakers into a multi-billion-dollar legacy: Michael Jordan. You know the name, the number 23, the guy who made every kid in the 90s want to be like Mike. But what most people don't realize is that Jordan isn't just a basketball legend, he's a business genius who built an empire that still grows even though he hasn't played professionally in over 20 years. Jordan's story started in Wilmington, North Carolina, where he was just a kid with crazy dreams and a serious competitive streak. The funny thing is, he didn't even make his high school varsity team at first, but instead of giving up, he used that rejection as fuel. He worked harder than anyone else. And by the time he got to the University of North Carolina, people already knew he was something special. Fast forward a few years, and he's leading the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships, grabbing 5 MVP awards, and redefining what it means to be great. But the best part of his story didn't happen on the court. It happened after he stopped playing. See, Jordan knew his name was worth something. In the 1980s, he teamed up with Nike and created Air Jordan. And let's just say, sneaker culture was never the same. Those shoes went from sports gear to a worldwide obsession. Even now, people camp outside stores just to grab a new pair. The Air Jordan brand alone earns him hundreds of millions every year. That's right, even while chilling on a golf course somewhere, Jordan's bank account is still running drills. Then came his big ownership move. In 2010, he bought most of the Charlotte Hornets basketball team, making him the first former NBA player to own a team. He later sold most of it in 2023 for a massive profit that sent his net worth soaring. On top of that, he has smart investments in restaurants, car dealerships, and brands like Gatorade and Hanes. This man basically turned everything he touched into gold. What makes Jordan so special is not just that he was great, but that he stayed great long after leaving the game. He proved that talent can open doors, but strategy and patience keep them open. From a kid who got cut from his school team to a billionaire who runs empires, his story screams one thing: never stop betting on yourself. And just when you think that story can't get any bigger, up next is a mining mogul who turned South Africa's soil into billions. 5. Mike Adenuga, $6.2 billion. If there is one man who turned hustle into an art form, it is Mike Adenuga. This Nigerian business giant is the kind of person who could walk into an empty room and walk out with an empire. His story is packed with hard work, fearless risk-taking, and a deep understanding of what his people need. Adenuga did not just make money, he changed how Africa communicates. Born in Ibadan, Nigeria in 1953, Adenuga was not born into luxury. He started out selling soft drinks and working small jobs to make ends meet. But his brain was wired for business. After studying business administration in the United States, he came back home, ready to build something that mattered. His first major move was in oil. He founded Conoil, one of Nigeria's first indigenous oil exploration companies, and struck black gold. That was his first real fortune, but he did not stop there. He wanted to do something that would touch everyday lives. In 2003, Adenuga launched Globacom, better known as Glo. At that time, the telecom space in Nigeria was dominated by foreign companies. Glo came in and completely shook the table. It offered cheaper call rates, better internet service, and more reach for millions who had never even owned a phone before. Within a few years, Glo became Nigeria's second-largest telecommunications company and expanded to countries like Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. It was more than a business. It was a revolution. People call Adenuga the Bull because of his unstoppable energy and fierce determination. He keeps a low profile, rarely gives interviews, and lets his work do all the talking. His businesses create thousands of jobs and drive innovation across Africa's tech and energy industries. Despite his wealth, Adenuga is known for his quiet generosity. He has funded scholarships, medical programs, and social projects across Nigeria. When it comes to giving back, he believes in doing it without making a big show of it. That humility, mixed with his business brilliance, makes him one of the continent's most respected figures. Mike Adenuga's journey is a reminder that success is not about where you start, but how far you are willing to go. He connected millions through his vision and turned communication into a bridge for progress. So yeah, Adenuga built his fortune by helping people stay connected. But have you heard of the man who literally laid the foundations of nations? He's next on our list. 4. Abdulsamad Rabiu, $5.2 billion. If you think big business is all about flashy tech startups or celebrity brands, think again. Abdulsamad Rabiu proves that massive wealth can be built by creating the very foundation of a country. This Nigerian industrialist started with trading and turned it into an empire that produces the materials people literally build their lives on. His story shows that vision, patience, and a deep understanding of the local economy can take you from humble beginnings to billionaire status. Rabiu was born in Kano, Nigeria, in 1968. He grew up learning business in his family's trading company. From a young age, he understood how money moves and how to spot opportunities that others overlooked. But he realized that trading alone could only take him so far. He wanted to control production itself and ensure consistent quality, which meant going into manufacturing. In 1988, he founded BUA Group. What started as a sugar refining business soon expanded into cement production, two industries that are essential to Nigeria's infrastructure and economic growth. BUA Cement quickly became one of Africa's leading cement producers, competing with giants like Dangote Cement. Rabiu's strategy is all about vertical integration. That means his company handles everything from raw material sourcing to production and delivery. This approach ensures efficiency, reduces costs, and keeps quality high. But BUA Group did not stop at sugar and cement. The company also invests in real estate and port operations, creating a diversified industrial powerhouse. Every step is calculated, and every expansion adds long-term value. Rabiu is equally focused on giving back. The BUA Foundation supports education, healthcare, and poverty reduction programs across Nigeria. His philosophy is clear. Wealth is most meaningful when it helps others build better lives. Through scholarships, hospital projects, and community programs, Rabiu demonstrates that success is not just measured in dollars, but in the positive change you bring to society. Abdulsamad Rabiu's journey is a lesson in long-term thinking. He saw potential where others saw routine industries, invested wisely, and scaled steadily over decades today. He is not only one of Africa's richest men, but also a symbol of how industrial innovation can transform nations. And while Rabiu literally built the raw materials, our next billionaire turned one software into a global empire. 3. Robert F. Smith, $10.8 billion. If there was ever a billionaire who made tech sound like pure magic, it is Robert F. Smith. This man took lines of code and turned them into billions, proving that software might just be the new gold mine. But what makes his story even more inspiring is that he did not come from a wealthy background. He built everything from scratch with brain power, boldness, and a mindset that refused to settle for average. Robert F. Smith grew up in Denver, Colorado, in a family that valued education and hard work. His parents were teachers, and they made sure he never stopped learning after studying chemical engineering and later earning his MBA from Columbia University. Smith stepped into the world of finance. But while many people were chasing oil, real estate, or stocks, he saw something different: software. In the year 2000, he founded Vista Equity Partners, a private equity firm that invests only in software companies. That move changed everything. Vista became a beast in the tech industry. Smith's idea was simple but brilliant: buy struggling software companies, fix them up, make them more efficient, and then grow their value. Over the years, he mastered this formula so well that Vista now manages over $100 billion in assets. His approach has been called the quiet revolution of tech wealth, because while the world focused on flashy Silicon Valley startups, Smith was quietly building one of the most powerful tech investment firms on the planet. His success, though, is not just about numbers. In 2019, he made headlines for something unforgettable. During a graduation ceremony at Morehouse College, he surprised everyone by announcing that he would pay off the entire student loan debt of the graduating class. Imagine sitting in your cap and gown and hearing that your student loans are gone, completely wiped out. That moment made him a legend, not just in business, but in hearts everywhere. Beyond philanthropy, Smith continues to push for greater diversity in tech. He funds initiatives to help young Black engineers and entrepreneurs get the opportunities they deserve. He is all about changing the system from within. Robert F. Smith is living proof that innovation is not limited by background or privilege. It is fueled by vision and grit. He turned his passion for technology into a legacy that is changing lives across the world. But while Smith conquered the digital space with data and code, let's move on to a man who built a network that connected millions across Africa. 2. David Stewart, $12.4 billion. It's hard to imagine growing up in segregated Missouri, seeing the limits society places on you, and then deciding that you will not just break through them, but build something that empowers thousands. But that is exactly what David Stewart did. This man took technology, combined it with grit, and created one of the largest African-American-owned businesses in the United States. His journey is a masterclass in turning challenges into opportunity. Most people would have stopped at frustration or resignation. Not David. Stewart was born in 1946 in the small town of Chicago, but he spent much of his life in Missouri, where racial barriers were real and harsh. He saw the inequalities firsthand and decided early on that he wanted to create not just personal success, but pathways for others. In 1990, David Stewart co-founded Worldwide Technology, or WWT, starting out as a company that focused mainly on IT hardware. At first glance, it might have seemed like just another tech business, but David had a bigger vision. He did not just want to sell equipment, he wanted to build a full-scale technology powerhouse. Over time, he expanded WWT into software solutions, cloud computing, and supply chain management, serving some of the biggest corporations and government agencies in the country. Now, this is the part that really stands out. WWT did not just survive the competitive tech world, it thrived. Under Stewart's leadership, the company grew at an incredible pace. WWT secured major contracts with Citi, Verizon, and multiple government agencies, employing nearly 10,000 people and generating around $20 billion in annual revenue. Stewart's approach is straightforward but effective. Hire the best talent, invest heavily in training, and make sure his team has the tools to succeed. For him, creating opportunities for others is just as important as building profits. But there is more to this story than numbers and contracts. Beyond business, Stewart's story is about vision and community. He actively mentors aspiring Black entrepreneurs, helping them navigate industries that have historically excluded them. He supports education initiatives and programs that aim to close the opportunity gap, proving that wealth can be a tool for empowerment. What makes Stewart fascinating is how he blends technology with purpose. WWT is not just a tech giant, it is a platform for progress. It shows that business can be a force for social change while still creating immense value. His rise from a segregated town to the top of the tech industry reflects a combination of perseverance, insight, and the drive to create opportunities for others. David Stewart built an empire using technology as his bridge to the future, transforming the lives of thousands along the way. But from technology connection, we moved to a billionaire whose fortune ran on pure data. 1. Aliko Dangote, $30.3 billion. Aliko Dangote is in a league of his own. He's not just the richest black man on earth. He's built an empire that literally touches the everyday lives of millions across Africa. While other billionaires chase flashy brands or tech startups, Dangote focused on commodities people use every day: cement, sugar, flour, salt, and now oil. His story is one of vision, patience, and understanding exactly what a continent needs to grow. Dangote started young in Lagos, Nigeria, as a trader. He quickly realized that the key to real wealth wasn't buying and selling small goods, it was producing them. In the late 1970s, he founded Dangote Group, initially focusing on trading basic commodities. Over time, he moved into industrial production, starting with sugar refining and cement manufacturing. Today, Dangote Cement dominates the African market, producing over 45 million tons annually and fueling construction projects from Lagos to Johannesburg. And here's where it gets even more impressive. Dangote didn't just stop at building a business. He's creating infrastructure for the entire continent. In 2024, his Dangote oil refinery began operations, one of the largest in the world. This refinery is set to reduce Africa's dependence on imported fuel, creating jobs and energy independence across the region. It's the kind of project that takes decades of planning, billions of dollars, and a vision few can match. What sets Dangote apart is his understanding of Africa's needs. He invests in projects that not only make money, but also develop industries, create jobs, and improve access to essential goods. His philanthropic work mirrors this vision, with initiatives focused on health, education, and poverty reduction. He proves that business success and social impact don't have to be separate. Dangote's empire shows that real wealth isn't about flashy headlines or celebrity endorsements. It's about seeing opportunities that others overlook, understanding people's needs, and building systems that last. He turned basic commodities into a multi-billion-dollar fortune and a platform for continental growth. Aliko Dangote didn't just become the richest black man on earth by chance. He did it by producing the stuff people need every single day, thinking long-term, and making moves that lift entire economies. From cement to sugar to oil, his empire proves that big visions and smart execution can change a continent. And there you have it, the richest black men on earth. Which one of these billionaires fascinated you the most? Let us know in the comments, and for more such peeks into the lives of the rich, take a look at our channel.